Hey, what's good, everyone? Welcome to another reading. This is going to be a love reading, so get excited, all my lovers out there. No introduction needed, just a general update. As always, pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. Feel free to pause the video and get stuck into pile 1s. Just sitting on the energy. Yeah, it's coming through. I also got a keyword. I'll try and remind myself of it afterwards. Sorry for the background noise. Not sure if you're picking that out, but it's quite a minimalist style. I'll have a pen quickly. Got the light coming in quite intensely from this side, so sorry if it's blocking. Not much I can do about that, apart from try and not whack my hand in the way too much. So the key word was laying. So I feel like this is like the feminine energy here and the masculine energy behind. I like it really. I like it. It's a bit smaller than I'd like it by accident. I drew it quite small. But it's like the masculine has perched his hand on his head. He's got his arm wrapped around this feminine energy who's laying down. Like on him kind of. But it's kind of done in, I'd say kind of typically my style, but there's something kind of a little bit fragmented about it. Not even fragmented, but like partial. There's a lot of lines missing and a lot of lines I don't know, something quite almost Picasso-esque about it, or Matisse. But it's not. It maybe is for you, but what I'm saying is it's not for me. It's there's an irregularity there, but it's maybe these are key words for you as well. So the energy of actually the drawing, which might be symbolizing your connection, is something to do with like there's lines where there shouldn't be lines, but it works. Ooh. So this could be to do with like boundaries too. This would be the example of like, you could almost even relate this to Okay, so an example of this would be, let's say you know your partner really doesn't like to be called baby, and it's because I don't know, they find it patronizing. So for your average couple, that may be a bit far-fetched, that might be a bit over the top. There might be a line that's crossed there that seems a bit unnecessary. But it actually works here. Maybe this could class as trauma bonding because maybe you've got the same feeling. Or a better example I've got, which I've kind of come to understand more and more maturely, is that sometimes when you know someone's just got a sensitivity in an area, just accept it. Like, we live in a society which is always trying to kind of change us, and a change is good, don't get me wrong. We're kind of treading complicated territory here. But you know, like, change is sometimes most healthily done. Maybe not using the word correctly there. Like, change is most healthy sometimes when we do it in like increments, when we do it in small steps. Like, sometimes we're asking for too much from ourselves and from people. So the vibration that I'm getting from this is that, let's say if the feminine didn't like to be called baby, the masculine isn't trying to justify or resolve or change the way that she feels about that, because there's something that's been accepted in the fact that, you know, maybe eventually she might come around to me calling her baby. But for now, she's given me good reason to, so I'm going to accept that. And that example obviously can be used vice versa. That could be something that the feminine is saying and the masculine is triggered in some form of way, and there's that mutual understanding there. So also, just to add on to the energy, there seems to be somewhat of like a chilled energy here, like a comfortableness. This is one of those readings where it seems to be to do more with the comfortability of the energy. So like I said initially, there's these boundaries here which kind of work somehow. You know, like in another relationship, these boundaries wouldn't work. It's almost like you both understand each other's toxicness as well. I'm getting that vibe. You kind of understand each other's toxicness, and then you have a different, like, you both here have an understanding of empathy. You know, you run into problems in a relationship sometimes when one of you have empathy and one of you don't. Because that means when someone makes a mistake, there's usually someone who's always like understanding, and then when the mistake is made on the other side, they're not understanding at all, and the relationship soon kind of comes crashing to an end when that happens. So you've got some balance here with both understanding and empathy. And I'm almost getting the vibe here of like, maybe you was watching a movie, I get the feeling like the feminine's fallen asleep. The masculine is still like up, you know, with his hand on his head, like watching the movie. But she's like, she's long gone. So that just might be a funny confirmation there. For some of you out there, if that sounds like your relationship, that's just a confirmation there. And with that said, pile number one's cute little reading there, so I'm going to leave it there. If you enjoyed it, please do remember to like, comment and subscribe. Check out the If You Pause website. Got a paid video there on romance if you're interested. I think you're crazy if you haven't at least got one of my paid videos yet. because they're the most underrated videos out there, just in existence. So highly recommended. But for now, I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Pole number 2s. God help me with drawing this. God help me. Can I get a round of applause, even just for the attempt of that? It's quite difficult. I think if I had a picture there, it would have, like, as a template, it would be easier. There's kind of a lot of overlapping. Maybe these are some key words for you. Pole number 2s. It's quite difficult for me to draw, because there's an intertwining going on. So yeah, far from perfect, but we got there. Put a little heart there too. It's got that vibe. Centre it a bit better. Hopefully that makes sense to you. Pole number 2s. You've got the masculine energy here and the feminine energy here. Small kind of little notes here. Is, you know, the masculine's energy, knee is bent, and the feminine's energy has a straight leg. So if I was to summarize that reminds me of like the masculine supporting. And remember, that's not always the case, right? As we know, sometimes the feminine energy supports the masculine energy. Despite how you see the genders, that is for sure that there's a constant support of different kinds going on in a relationship. So in this case, I feel like, yeah, there's a sense here of like, I guess when someone sits upon someone, there's a sense here of like a safety. You know, for example, when we've got a siren going off there, which is maybe some confirmation for you, but it reminds me of like, you know, when someone feels overweight and they sit on a chair and they don't want to sit on that chair because they feel overweight. But it's like this person is prepared to sit on their partner though, which shows, I know it's a far-fetched maybe example, but it shows that they're not going to break. You know, there's something quite literal in that. Like when you sit upon a chair which is too weak for your weight, there's a feeling there of unsafety, you're going to fall down. And this represents to me that this feminine energy is safe to sit upon the masculine. So I think that supporting is to do with safety. So for whatever reason, sorry for my arm being in the shade here, partus, or creating the shadow, could be another clue for you. The safety may be in your shadow. Yeah, partus, I feel like that feeling of safety, that feeling of support from the masculine is coming through possibly a shadow or something to do there with safety. You know, I think it would be also be crazy not to mention that there's like at least a sexual / sensual energy to this reading. Does remind me very much of like tantric sex, tantric energy. I'm not too familiar, to be honest, but whenever someone has talked to me about it, I feel like that was something I've done naturally during intimacy. Not to blow my own trumpet, but I've never actually researched it though. I've never actually gone down that rabbit hole. So I say all of that, pole number 2, because I get that vibe from this reading, but I'm no expert. In fact, I'm not even an amateur in understanding the concept or the theories. So I'm not going to speak on that, but I will just say that it's an obvious signal in this reading. So maybe that's an interest that if you're the masculine or feminine energy here, it may be something that you want to look into. Maybe something that is unraveling in your next chapter of discovery in the relationship. That would be an obvious point to make. And yeah, like just generally a really positive reading. Like really, like I'm not sure about you when you see this, but when I see this, I see like these two are in love, and it doesn't really remind me of like that mushy love. It really does remind me of that love of like, we've got each other's back here, literally. There's somewhat of a seriousness here. I tell you what, here you go. This is going to give you really a lot of the energy here too. You know, at a wedding and they have the first dance, that's the energy of this moment. And it's completely obviously not that, but it's that energy. So yes, it can be seen as a sexual reading, this one, but the energy is like the first dance at a wedding when you see the the bride and groom do that first dance and they're looking at each other. That's the energy. So if you can branch off that pile number twos and see if that resonates for you in any way, or if that's to come, that would be where this reading is anchored, in that kind of moment. So for now, I'm going to leave you to it. Please do remember to like, comment and subscribe. Pile number twos. Check out the If You Pause website. As I said to pile number ones, I've got a video there on romance which might help some of you out there if you're interested. Like I always say, you're a mad person if you haven't checked out some of the products there already. But everyone to their own. For now, I'll see you in the next reading, pile twos, and have a beautiful, wonderful rest of your day. Pile number threes with pen number three. I'm not sure if the camera's picking up on that. I'm no longer coughing, but I've got a little bit of a blocked nose at the moment. Okay. Different energy coming through. Spirit's kind of telling me to just talk about, I've been watching some interviews recently. I'm not going to tell you which ones, but Spirit was like, talk about it. So that might be something that you're already doing, pile number threes, or something that might help you, whatever your situation is right now. Watch like an interview of someone talking about it. Really cool. Really cool. You know, this is one of those drawings which I'd say I'm proud of because I've caught it. Really caught the motion of that. It's confusing, isn't it? Hopefully you're catching that. There's something confusing about it because they're holding hands, but they're going in two different directions. It's like, it's very, like this, as a reading, when they say a picture can explain a million words or whatever that saying is, I feel like this is it, pile number 3 is. Because what we have here is kind of that energy of like almost a couple here or a relationship where they care for each other or love each other, but they're going in two different directions. Now, this doesn't even necessarily mean like, so obviously use your own intuition here, pile 3s, but what this doesn't necessarily mean, and what I'm not necessarily getting from this, is that you're coming to an end of a relationship. This is maybe more of a representation of like, you're holding hands. Oh, I got another one here. It's like you're holding hands and then you got to go to work or something. So you go two different ways. That kind of came through. You know, like you're just walking in the morning to go to your office or something, but your office is in two different places. So that's the moment where you go your separate ways. But actually more of what I got was you know, like say like you're out shopping, like even at the grocery shop, and you're walking, let's say one of you've got the basket in the hand, and there's just a moment where the feminine might go to the vegetables and then the man's gone to, I was going to say the meat there, which just sounds almost so stereotypical these days. Like gender biased, like that's what was coming out though. But like, it's the moment there of there's nothing wrong with this moment. It's just that at that split second, your focuses were on the things that you wanted. Your focuses were on your priority almost, and it was it's not necessarily like I said, a breakup here. It's almost something where your hands are still attached and you thought you were both going in the same direction, and then you're yanking on each other's hands because you've realised that you're not going the same direction. And that could almost create a moment of humour, for example. It's almost that moment of like where the hell are you going? You know, it's a moment of laughter. Don't get me wrong, this may, for some of you, mean some form of separation. But I wasn't getting that. I was getting more like of an oops moment. Of like, I thought you was coming that way. And you didn't. So I just wait for the noise. So yeah, pile 3 is, I was just sitting on the energy as well, just using that time productively to see if anything else was channeling. There's somehow somewhat of like a happy mood here. It's not a miserable or super sad mood for some reason. Like I said, it reminds me of like a temporary blip. You know, it could almost be the moment as well. Like, for example, it's not this in the image because we can clearly see it's not, but it's you both walking with holding hands and one of you trips up. You know, so it's almost show the fact that one of you is focused on where you're going and one of you is not. One of you is tripped up. But it's not to do with like, I hate you, I'm walking the other way. Or, you know, this is not working out. Bye. It's not really, it's not giving me the energy here of we're going our separate ways, which is just amazing because that's what I'm getting from this image. One could argue that they've got their heads in different directions because they're not happy with each other. But I very much get the more of the energy that they're just focused at that very moment on two different things. It's not detaching from what that is. There's a beauty there. So pole number 3 is not really much here to do with the masculine, feminine energy individually, separately. I didn't say it at the start, but I'd say that there's the feminine energy and the masculine here, but it wasn't really about the individuals, it was more about the connection. But the point I feel has been made, so I hope it was useful for you. I hope it was a helpful update. I hope you got something from it. And like always, please do remember to like, comment and subscribe. Check out the If You Pause website, ifyoupause.com. Check out my video on ifyoupause.com on romance if you feel called to do so. I think it's a good one. And yeah, pile number 3s. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.